Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have recently been sent a few products from Saie and I have been trying them out on my skin, and honestly, I have just been feeling like I've had really good skin days while using these products. So I thought I would jump on and show you what they look like. Not sponsored, they just sent me the product, and maybe I'll do like a quick eye look with y'all. Nothing fancy, very casual, but I have been loving the way these have been looking, so I wanted to share. I have my brows on and a little bit of the Clinique airbrushed concealer underneath my eyes for a little bit of correction. But I'm gonna start out with the Saie Slip Tint Broad Spectrum SPF 35 Sunscreen Tinted Moisturizer. Now, Saie does have, upon looking at their site, two different kind of complexion products. The other one is marketed as a moisturizing sunscreen. This one is an actual tinted moisturizer. Now, I have not tried the other one, so I can't speak to it, but it sounds like this one's gonna have a little bit more coverage than the sunscreen. I have the shade 3.5, and this is a 15% zinc oxide, so it's all mineral sunscreen. And 3.5 says it's for light to medium skin tones with golden undertones. So this is $35. It comes in 14 shades, and it is 40 mils or 1.35 fluid ounces. Now, it is currently almost noon. I have already been out and about, so I have my Ulta MD sunscreen on, but I've had it on since 6:30 this morning. So some of it has probably worn off, and I am going to be using this not only for the tinted moisturizer benefits, but also the sunscreen benefits, because I will say that I do feel like you could use this for your actual SPF 35 protection, because you, at least I, have been able to use enough without it looking too heavy or not rubbing in to get that 35 coverage. So I do think if you wanted to use it as your sole SPF, I mean, I would do it, especially on days where I want more coverage. But I'm gonna take 3 pumps of 3.5. And today, since I already have something on, I'm just going to stipple it in with a brush. This is sheer to light coverage. It's a tinted moisturizer. And I had somebody kind of make a comment on one of my skin tint videos. I think the one where I use the Shiseido skin tint, saying that they don't really quite grasp the point of a tinted moisturizer. Mostly because if you want your coverage, you're gonna probably go for a foundation, right? Because most tinted moisturizers do not provide that much coverage. And if you want your SPF, you're probably just gonna go for a separate SPF. And I get that thinking, I really do. But here's my kind of thought on tinted moisturizers. Even if you don't use them as your SPF, which for the most part, I don't, I will wear a separate SPF underneath it. To me, it's less about coverage so much as evening out the skin tone. Because I think the comment was kind of like, if you don't need coverage, why wear any kind of tint on your face? I'm personally someone that just has a little bit of redness. I don't need a ton of coverage by any means. In fact, this kind of coverage is really my favorite, but I do really like to even out that redness a little bit. I self-tan, so I like to even my face with my chest and shoulders. And depending on the formula, it can really smooth the texture of your skin out as well. So, you know, you can't really cover texture. It's not something makeup can cover, but you can smooth it out a little bit. And sometimes the formulas of tinted moisturizer can do that. So there's lots of different reasons why you would want to wear something like this. For me personally, it's more just to even everything out and match, you know, my face to my body. So when I first applied this, I was like, oh, wow, that's dewy. Because it is, and it claims to be a sheer dewy coverage. It also has hyaluronic acid, pansy flower, which is an antioxidant that works with the hyaluronic acid to boost hydration, and licorice root extract, which helps to brighten the overall appearance of the skin. Sorry about that. Some people really like this level of dew. I really like the powder that Saie also sent along that I actually already had in my collection, to kind of take that dew down a little bit. And I feel like the combination of those two is what kind of gives that flawless looking base. But I will do a close-up so you can see what it looks like just by itself. So because it is, you know, more dewy, if you have pores or anything like that that you don't really want to be brought attention to, you are probably going to want to powder this down. Now, another way I love to use tinted moisturizers is underneath powder foundations. I'm not going to do that today, but it is a great way to kind of give that even base and something for the powder foundation to adhere to. So I'm going to put a little bit of concealer on, and today I'm just going to use my Beauty Pie. This is the Everyday Great Skin Concealer in the shade 300 Beige. At this point, if you did have something you really needed to cover up, this will be a great time to use the concealer on those spots. Another way I love to use tinted moisturizer, typically when people say they need a full coverage foundation, they don't need it everywhere. They just need it in certain areas. So going in with a tinted moisturizer to kind of even everything out everywhere, and then going back in, you know, on spots of redness or blemishes with just a concealer to spot conceal is going to help keep the skin as flawless as possible, because you're not putting layer upon layer upon layer of full coverage products to cover a small area of the face. So before I set this with the powder, I'm going to go in with another product they sent me, which is their Sun Melt Natural Cream Bronzer. I cannot believe I did not already have this in my collection, because I have heard so many people rave about this product. And a lot of people have compared it to the original Chanel Cream Bronzer. I have not tried the new formulation of that. There's mixed reviews of that, but the original I went through an entire tub of, and this has been compared a lot to that. So I have the shade Medium Bronze. This comes in 4 different shades and it retails for $30. It is a large amount of product. It has 1 ounce of product in it. And this has colloidal oil. Oh, I always want to say colloidal oatmeal. Colloidal oatmeal, which helps soothe, smooth, and moisturize, grapeseed oil, and elderberry extract. Again, I'm in medium bronze. I really like it. It has been a hot minute. And when I say hot minute, I mean years, honestly, since I have used the Chanel. And it's not as emollient as the Chanel, in my opinion. Like when I put my brush in it, which this is the Hourglass Vanish brush, I'll link it down below. When I put my brush in it, it doesn't move around as much as the Chanel did. And I do like how this one comes in multiple colors, whereas the original Chanel, I do think they have extended their color line now, but the original was just 1. And I do think this is darker. This medium is darker than the original shade. But see how when I just stamp it in, it just kind of melts into the skin. It is not shimmery by any means. It's just a nice matte cream, but creams in general tend to give the appearance of a sheen on the skin because of their formula. So I really just like to stamp cream bronzers in versus buffing, because I don't want to mess anything up underneath. Look at how easy. I mean, it's like, I don't know, it blends itself. I'm gonna put a little bit on my neck. I mean, oh, I love it. Now, like I said, if you are someone who really likes this dewy look, by all means, keep it. But I'm gonna go in with the Air Set Radiant Loose Setting Powder. Now, they did send this to me with the other 2 products, but I already had it in my collection and already knew that I really liked it. So I've talked about this before. I really love just the slim packaging of these products. It looks good to me, but it's also practical for storage. And this is a translucent powder that has a little bit of sheen to it. In fact, when I first, I think, talked about it, I mentioned when I first saw it, I saw some sheen in it and I was a little worried that I was gonna have glitter on my face. But alas, it does not show up on the face at all. So I'm gonna take my BK Beauty 107 and I'm going to stipple that into the skin, just like I've been doing everything else, because as you can see, it's my favorite way to apply products to ensure that nothing underneath is going to be messed up. But you can see how, even though this is a radiant loose setting powder, it does go very far in mattifying that tinted moisturizer. And I feel like it's important to do a close-up at this step too, because this is where it all comes together for me and makes the skin look just so even, but so skin-like. So you have that dimension from the bronzer, and you still have some of that glow, right? Like I didn't mattify my entire face. It's not flat matte at all, but it's just, to me, this is what summer skin should be. Lightweight products, SPF, but flawless finish. So loving, loving, loving all of those. Let's do a quick eye makeup. And I have been loving the pinks and corals, which is really not abnormal for me. I mean, if you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know that those are colors that I absolutely love to use. But I am gonna use the Sigma Corta Rosa palette. They sent me this and a couple of the other 14 pan palettes of theirs, but look at how pretty. I mean, these are just my kind of colors. Not gonna do anything crazy. I am actually gonna go in and mix the colors Hybrid right here with Corta Rosa on the very end. It got kind of blurry. And I'm gonna use the enclosed brush, which is the E38 diffused crease brush. And I'm just going to mix those two shades together for the crease. These do have a little bit of kick up in the pan, but I don't find the fallout as bad or really existent at all, especially if I just knock the brush off before I go in and blend. I've mentioned before, I don't care about kickback as a whole when it comes to eyeshadows. As long as you tap your brush off, you'll be fine. So I'm just mixing those and building them up in the crease. And I'm not sure which of these videos is gonna go up first, but if you haven't seen the video where I use this cream shadow, this is one that I have been loving lately. This is the Lid Glow Cream Shadow from Beauty Counter in the shade Aura, which is very, very similar to, I believe it was Sunstone in their holiday cream shadow a couple years ago that is now in my empties because I have used it so much. And this one is just it's really just a nude kind of champagne shade, but there's something about the formula and the shade that goes with everything, whether I'm doing warm or cool. And I will either use it by itself, which you can see it's a really pretty shade, or I'll use it kind of as a base for whatever lid color, which is, I mean, 90% of the time what I use it as. And what that's gonna do is just gonna help the lid color adhere a little bit better. It's gonna help it stay longer, and it's gonna make it pop just a little bit more. And I think to start, I'm gonna go in with Campfire for the lid color, which is this really pretty kind of pinky rose gold shimmer shade. And the other side of that brush, which is the E54 medium sweeper. And I'm just going to press that on top of that Aura. And then I think I'm gonna take just a little bit of this Belle of the Ball, which is a very shimmery goldish color, and just add a little bit of sheen right in the middle. Oh my goodness, look at how pretty that is. And to balance everything out, I think I'm going to use an eyeliner today, and I'm going to go into Bare Root, which is this darkest shade, and it is a brown, but it has a purpley undertone to it. And I'm using, of course, my Rephr number 29, because it is just my favorite for eyeliner, and I think you'll be able to see why, because just like that, I have eyeliner on. It's honestly the best tool ever if you like to use, well, I was about to say if you like to use shadow as liner, but really it's the best tool ever for any kind of liner. I mean, you could use this with gels to smudge out pencils, but I typically always use eyeshadow for liner, so this is just a must-have in my collection. And then to finish it off, I'm going to take those same two shades that I had in the crease, and you'll know for under the eye. Okay, I did my mascara off camera, and I used my L'Oreal Voluminous Burgundy, which is something I just cannot stop using. And honestly, I don't know that I'm gonna do that much more to my face. I'm gonna put a little bit of blush on, but because of the nature of the finish of these products, I don't feel like I really need to wear a highlighter today. So I'm just gonna use a highlighting blush to kind of work for both of those products. This is the Perez Tapioca Cheek Color in Tokyo. And it's hard to see over the camera, but it does have a little bit of a sheen to it. And I feel like because I used corally shades, and some pinks. I could kind of go both ways. So this is definitely more of a peachy coral blush, but I still think it's going to work. And then because, well, for a couple reasons. Because it's me, and I rarely do elaborate lip looks. Because I love a gloss, I'm just going to wear a gloss today, and I'm going to use my Fit Glow Beauty lip serum in the shade B, which is my favorite of the lip serums, but that's not saying a ton because I love them all. If you have not tried those, definitely check them out. They are so, so good if you like a very moisturizing feel with a semi-opaque color. I don't even feel like I'm going to go in and buff the skin like I typically do. I just feel like it doesn't need it. These products work so well together and they honestly stay on all day. I looked in my mirror to put some lipstick on yesterday in my car, and I had this on for probably 10 hours at that point, this combination, and it still was looking exactly the same. And it was like 92 degrees yesterday. So very lightweight, very summer appropriate in my opinion. And you can obviously dress it up or down depending on what you want to do on your lips and eyes. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Really no rhyme or reason other than I've been loving it. So I wanted to make a video and show y'all why I have been loving it. So if you have any questions, let me know. As always, I will list and link everything that I use down in the description box below. And let me know if you've tried these Saie products and what you think. So thank y'all so much for watching. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. I hope you're all staying happy, healthy, and safe, and that most of all, you go out and have a very blessed day.